Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Alicia Brasher here at Cosmic Gateway. Super excited. I am joined by Aaron Kuhn or Aaron Kuhn, depending on which accent you want to use, who's from the Journey to Truth podcast. And I'm super excited to get to know you a little bit more and have a chat with you and learn a little bit about your journey and what other rabbit holes we decide to go down. So, Aaron, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Me too. So I guess, can we just start off a little bit about your background? Like, what was your awakening journey like and sort of where you've come from so people can get a bit of a sense of who you are as a person and the journey that you've walked up until this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up very Christian in a Baptist church, so that can kind of give you an idea. And yeah, I was a very devout Christian for the first 25 years of my life. So back in 2012, when I was 25, is when I had what I call my awakening. And I just started questioning my beliefs and started doing my own research. Something just triggered that in me. I was kind of at a low point in my life, actually, I think is what triggered it. I was kind of just like, nothing was working out, going right for me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I was kind of like halfway there. Maybe I was kind of just like, I was like, just tired of everything is the best way I can put it. And I just moved in with a friend of mine. It's funny because he was going from Christian to like atheist at the time. And I was going through this awakening where I started going down the spiritual route. And I quickly found, just on YouTube randomly, I found David Icke, I remember, and David Wilcock, both around the same time. And I just like was blown away. Like my mind was just like blown by their information. And I just would watch like every video I could from both of them. And then I found like Dolores Cannon and same thing. And and she was amazing. And then I found Project Camelot around that time, and I was just watching every interview I could from them. And yeah, I was just taking in all this. And it's funny because like before I woke up, I would have never gotten into any of that. And, I would have just like seen that kind of stuff and been like, oh, that's crazy. I just stayed away from it. But because I had like got to this point where I was just craving truth, no matter where it came from, I was just open to everything. And I was like, okay, yeah, a lot of this sounds kind of crazier out there, but maybe there's something here. And it was so fascinating to me that I just like kept taking it in. And then things kept just resonating with me so strongly, and dots were connecting very rapidly. And I was just like, there's something to this. And then even with certain things I had experienced, and known, it was resonating, and I just kind of kept going. But I spent 5 years. So from then until 2017, I spent just like isolated doing my own research and taking in all this information
Wow.
and growing spiritually as well. But like I had no one else to talk to or connect with. I didn't know anyone that was into any of this stuff here in St. Louis, Missouri, where I still live. So I kind of just like spent 5 years just isolated, doing my own research and not talking to anybody about this stuff.
Oh my
And
goodness.
playing in bands. I used to play in bands for a long time. And the band I was in at that time, they were all like atheists, agnostic or atheist.
Mm-hmm.
My family was very Christian still. And I had a few other friends that were one or the other kind of a thing. Actually, mostly atheist probably at that point. And yeah, so 2017, I just got to the point where I'm like, I have to connect with people. I have to find my tribe. I have to like find people to talk to about this stuff.
I can't even begin to imagine like 5 years of like, my experience has been very different. It's always been out there, and
yeah,
like, oh my goodness, that's a really
that's a long time. Yeah, and it was, but yeah, for whatever reason, it took me that long to finally get tired of feeling like alone on that journey and like being like, I need to go to a conference or something and connect with people. So I did. In 2017, I went to my first ever spiritual conference, which was in the Mount Shasta area, which is it's just kind of the place that it's a very spiritual, kind of place. A lot of people in this community are very drawn there. It was one that Corey Good, if you know who he is, him and his team put on. Yeah. In August of 2017, it was called Eclipse of Disclosure. It was during that big solar eclipse that year. Yeah. And we did a big meditation during the eclipse that was very powerful. And yeah, Corey Good was there. Laura Eisenhower was there. Dr. Michael Sala, Justin Deschamps, a bunch of amazing people. Niara Isley, if you know who she is. And then I made a bunch of amazing friends at that conference and connected with people for the first time. And I was like, it was like a kid in the candy store kind of a thing, kind of experience. And I was just like so happy to be able to talk to people and make friends with people that were on the same page as me, And that conference was like life-changing for me.
I was about to say it must have been life-changing.
It was very life-changing. Yeah. And I felt like activated is like the best way I can put it. Because like I had all this new energy. I feel like the new excitement at that point to like get more involved in the community and to try to find my mission and, help in any way I could. And so yeah, I started a Facebook group not too long after that called Journey to Truth, which is where the name for our podcast comes from, actually. Yeah. And yeah, so that group started out small, and then, I was posting in it a lot. And then, so the next year in 2018 is where I met Tyler at a conference, which was like the sequel to that conference called Dimensions of Disclosure.
Oh, yeah.
There was no eclipse, so they had to change the name to something of disclosure. So they called it Dimensions of Disclosure. And it was in Colorado that year. And I met Tyler. We didn't know we were both lived in the same town, but we just, we're talking. And then I went on like a hike with him. And then during the hike, I was like, so where are you from? And he's like, St. Louis. I was like, what? Me too. So that was like an awesome synchronicity. And then after that, we just started hanging out and started up the podcast. We just had the idea to do it. And started that in February of 2019, so about a year and a half ago. And we had no idea what we were doing. We just wanted to do something, and we just started it and just jumped in, and like it just started taking off, like with not that much effort. Like we just would do it once a week and try to get a different guest on, and we were able to get a different guest on every single week except for 1 week somehow. So it's like we just knew it, like how quickly it just started flowing. We knew this was what we were supposed to be doing, and it's been growing ever since. And it's been the biggest blessing for both of us, because it's connected us so much with the community and given us so many amazing opportunities that I don't know if we either of us would have gotten if we hadn't done this. So yeah, and here I am today.
It's amazing because like I truly believe that when you're following what you're meant to be doing in service, it will flow effortlessly. And I guess what you've described is a perfect example of that. And I also love, like, I tune in pretty regular. I couldn't say every week, but I do tune in regularly, and the content that you guys bring is amazing. And obviously it'll be in the description box below. If you don't already subscribe, like go and check it out. But what's that experience?
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
What has, like, I mean, what are some of the gifts that have come from doing the podcast, but like following, I guess, I'll say a part of your mission, because I don't even know you that well, and there may be other aspects that we can explore, but what are some of the gifts that have come through for you?
I would say it's really just helped me to be able to speak my truth, I guess I'd say. Yeah, just I don't know, because I'm an introvert, so I've always been kind of like,
I was about to say, has it pulled you out of your shell a little bit?
yes, exactly. Like, but even before we started it, like I wanted to do something, and I'm like, I've kind of always wanted to like write too, and like write books or something, or articles or something. Which I'm actually working on a book now currently too, so that's in the works. Yeah.
Oh,
um,
can you share
but
a little bit about that? Or
yeah, I mean, it's just going to be about kind of coming back to ourselves in terms of self-sovereignty and self-empowerment, uh, and stepping into uh, our passions and our like coming back to our souls, really living from our souls rather than from like society's constructs and expectations of us. And then also about the Great Awakening in general that's happening. So it's kind of going to be about all that. And
awesome.
yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
I'm pretty excited about it. Um, it's
Yeah.
slowly coming. It's slowly coming along. I'm going to try to start working on it more.
it's
But
it's one of those things that I don't know about you, but like I've been working on stuff too, different projects and writings, and it's like sometimes it's all there, and other times it's like no, like something else comes, and so it's a work in progress always, isn't it?
yes, yeah. Well, I'll go for like long periods where I don't feel like I don't have the inspiration hit, but then when the inspiration hits to do it, then I'm like, I'll like write a whole bunch of stuff that'll just come to me, And that's when the best stuff comes, is when it's flowing through you. It's not like you're trying to like, oh, I have to do it,
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like the universe is kind of like uh using you as a conduit or whatever. That's how I view it. Yeah. It's like, this is what I want to speak through you now, and
Exactly.
it's like, all right. And then it just comes. Yeah. And that's how, like the podcast, I feel like is like that. It's like the universe wanted to, it's like, all right, I'm going to do this thing through you guys. And it's like, it almost feels like it's the universe doing it through us, not even like we're the
Yeah,
ones, doing
I
it.
love that. I love that.
So,
So you
yeah, what
mentioned
was I lost track of, sorry, I
I
lost track of what I
I
was
don't
saying.
know where we I have another question because you mentioned that you were in bands. Is music something that's still a part of you and something that you still do and enjoy, or is it?
Yeah, not as much, because the last band I was in, I quit uh, almost 2 years ago because it was really fun while it lasted, but it started going downhill and kind of losing steam. Well, our singer moved to Kansas City, and then it became kind of a long distance band. And then when the band found out I was supporting Trump at the time, and they're very left wing, and they started attacking me. And then they found out, and then like the QAnon stuff, they were like very against. So they literally started like attacking me publicly on Facebook, and then messaging me on Facebook and saying all these mean things to me. And
Ouch.
yeah, and I was just like, the band was already going downhill, and I was already thinking about actually quitting. And then when that happened, I was like, all right, I gotta leave, I gotta get out of this. And I wasn't really very good friends with any of them at that point anyway. The singer and I used to be, but we had grown apart. And so yeah, uh, ever since then I haven't done anything, a band or anything like formally, but I still play on my own, and
Yeah.
as a way to just let out creativity and
Yeah, yeah. That's cool.
stuff.
Do you play guitar or
Guitar,
bass?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I guess that's a really important point, isn't it? The flow and effects of awakening and empowering your own truth is that you do have those what I like to call friendship cullings that happen
Yeah.
like that.
I've definitely had a lot of that happen over the last few
Unfortunately, I
years.
don't think it can be avoided. I mean, it's part of
Not
the
really.
process, isn't it? Mm.
It is. It's almost like, well, you hear about the like timeline split or Earth split, where it's like the 3D and the 5D, and it's almost like that's a manifestation of that, where it's like the people that just aren't going to wake up, or at least not anytime soon, it's like, if you are waking up, it's just a natural thing that's going to happen. They're going to fall away in some way or other from your awareness.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and then, people get triggered, people that are very programmed, which we all are to different degrees, but if you wake up to certain things, and some people are still very programmed to think a certain way about them, a lot of times they will get very triggered and say mean things to you, and or they will block you. I've had people block me, and yeah,
it's the hard aspect of being in a human suit, isn't it? Like, we have
it is.
these, I mean, it's part, it all works in part of our own evolution and ascension process, but it hurts at the time. Like, the human emotion and component's still there, right? And but beautifully said about the split, because it's frequency back. Like, what I've trained myself to understand, because that was one of the hardest things for me, is like seeing it from the perspective of it's frequency based, and not to take it personally, and that eventually maybe it'll come back in alignment if it's meant to,
Exactly. Everyone is on their own journey, and that's the most important thing to realize, is you can't force anyone to wake up. You can't force anything, because everyone's at a different place in their journey. So all you can do really is you can plant seeds, is the best way to look at it. And the people that are ready for that, they're gonna take that, and they're gonna immediately blossom and grow from it and get excited about it. Whereas like you'll connect with the people that are on your same level, and the people that aren't, they're just not ready for it yet. But you planting those seeds, and you living out your truth, and speaking it, and living out your mission, is it's still affecting them subconsciously, and it's still planting that seed there. So maybe later on down the road, they're going to think about that, or it's going to cause certain things to lead up to like their awakening, and when they're ready.
Yeah.
So,
and
you know what, like you said, it's all for the greater good anyway. Like everything that's seemingly negative or that hurts at the time is really just helping our growth, our soul growth and evolution. And if we can get to the point where we can like become and flow with that, where we're like not reacting from everything. So something negative happens and we get super triggered, or we get super upset, which you need to feel the emotions that you feel naturally. But if you can kind of understand that everything that happens is a blessing ultimately, whether it seems like it or not, you can really that's when you start becoming a master, really is a great way to look at it, and really start taking off in your soul growth. And that's what recently I've kind of been learning. So, yeah.
Beautifully said. And I guess we're all, learning more and more as this crazy, insane, but beautiful year unfolds.
This year is a great example of that.
I think I said something, I can't remember when, but on another video, and it was like, when you look back at the journey, and like what you were saying about 5 years of like not having anyone, and then that changing and all that, and you look back at the hard times and the heavy times and all that, you can really see how it was all preparation for this year, can't you? It was like,
yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yep.
So you've obviously been to a lot of events. You've just recently come back. You've been at Camp Disclosure and ESETI, and you've had a lot of cool experiences. But is there any cool experiences that you want to share that you've had, either with like galactic ETs, or like spiritual experiences, or even hearing other people's stories that have changed the way that you think or feel or perceive things?
Yeah, I don't have very many personal experiences. The craziest thing that's happened to me, I would say, is well, apart from going to ECETI, because every night you're there, every day you're there at night, you see like a million light ships flying around the sky and on the mountain there, and it's a magical experience just being there. But it was like two and a half years ago, right here in St. Louis, my city. I was hanging out with a friend, and I saw 3 light ships converge on each other out of the sky from different parts of the sky. And then they right in front of me in the sky, and they formed Orion's belt in configuration in the sky and just stayed there for I want to say 5 to 7 minutes, something like that.
Wow, I'm getting chills all through my body just telling me.
Yeah. And they were kind of getting dimmer and brighter, kind of fluctuating in brightness a little bit. I got a cell phone video of it, actually, if you want me to send it to you, and if you want to put it on this section.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love that.
Totally, I'll send that to you. It's hard to see in the video, but you can kind of still see it. You can see 2 of them at least. The third one's the dimmest, and it's hard to see in the video, but yeah, they stayed there for about that long, and then they just slowly floated away. It was almost like they just came to say hey, what's up? We're here. I'm like, is that my star family, or is that I'm assuming it was.
Yeah.
But that was really cool.
Did you feel changed by that? Afterwards?
Yeah. Well, it was just such a profound experience. I was just like, whoa, I know this stuff's real, but suddenly it's real. It's like this just happened to me rather than me seeing a YouTube video or somebody talking about it. It did have a profound effect on me, I think, and kind of I guess it was I needed it at that time for that stage of my journey. It's I'm guessing that's why that happened. Is that's something I needed, and then so that's kind of the coolest thing that's happened to me. I've had a lot of dreams of being on a ship, some kind of craft or ship, and beings that look like ETs, different races of ETs and stuff, and being on different planets that are clearly not Earth, like an alien planet.
Ooh.
I've had a lot of dreams of that kind of stuff, and I've had a lot of flying dreams too, where I'm flying around, floating around, in my body. And a lot of those, I'm wondering if, because I had a lot of those way before my awakening. So now that I know what I know, I'm like, wait, were those dreams, or was I out of body astrally doing that, or were they some of them past life memories, or or all of the above, so
fascinating. Yeah, I'm like you, I've always been a really vivid dreamer all my life, and after for me 2015 was big year in terms of yet another mass awakening, and I look back after that point, I'm like, they're not dreams. You see it so differently. It's whoa, that was very real experiences. So
yeah, totally. I've never had a lucid dream though yet.
Same.
Yeah.
So the lucid dreams have eluded me, Emmett.
Yeah, I know. I've tried. I haven't been able to do it yet, but or a conscious out of body experience.
Okay, yeah.
So
do you mind talking a little bit about the ship dreams? What sort of beings, or can you remember anything?
That's another thing. I have a really hard time, especially in the last few years, for whatever reason, remembering specific details of dreams. I'll remember it. I'll either remember it right when I wake up and then forget. I need to start doing a dream journal and start writing them down, because I'm terrible about forgetting them. Or I'll just remember having a crazy dream, and I'm I don't remember any details. I just know I had that crazy dream last night. But yeah, I've had dreams, being on a ship, and some of them, most of the beings will just be human looking.
Yeah.
And some of them, they'll be ET, grays, or some other humanoid with a different color skin and bigger eyes or something kind of like that. Or I think I've seen mantis beings. I think I've seen reptilians, yep, before in dreams. Yeah, I'm like trying to recall right now. I remember one specifically where I specifically remember being on a ship and like looking up at this really, really tall being, and in my mind being like, whoa, you're really, like thinking like you're really tall. Like in the dream, but then like waking up, I'm like, oh wow, I wonder if I actually was on a ship and that was just like a very tall being, you know.
Mhm.
um
Super fascinating stuff. I
yeah.
love this type of conversation.
Yeah, me too. um I've seen orbs. I've seen orbs a lot with my naked eye, actually. Actually, I see them in this house a lot. So
Mm.
Tyler and I live together actually now. I moved in with him around the beginning of the year, and I'd never seen orbs before. Well, he said I did last year. I take that. That was the first time I'd seen orbs with my naked eye, not on a
Mhm.
recording. Because I've seen that a lot on video recordings, but yeah, literally in this house, almost every day I'll see at least one, but usually I'll see multiple in a day.
Wow.
Yeah, I
So
saw one earlier, just upstairs.
it's a lot of activity going on in the house.
Yeah, seriously, it's crazy. This house is like, well, Tyler has a ton of stories from when he was just living in this house. He used to get a lot of negative beings mess with him uh, before his awakening, and he found out eventually he had a tear in his auric field that was allowing all these negative beings to come in and attach to him and mess with him until he finally got that healed, and then it all stopped right after that. So, but he has had other, I think, more positive ones too, and he sees the orbs too, just like I do here, and he's got like stories for days that he could tell. I'm sure he told some of them when you interviewed him,
um,
but
when you see the orbs, do you? Sorry, this is gonna sound like a weird question, but like, do you have a sense of who it is, what it is,
I don't. I
or
don't. I just see them.
have you
Uh,
felt guided to like connect with? I know this is gonna sound really strange. I'm gonna say something really weird, but
no, go for
yesterday,
it.
no, yesterday. So I had a dream 2 nights ago that I was speaking light language. Now that's not something that has happened yet up until
Really?
that point. And I was being instructed on how to like code in light language. So it's something new for me that I'm kind of dabbling and exploring. But it was super
Mm.
weird because within hours of waking up, I was then in the shower and I started light language just a little bit, not massively. And then I was getting ready and it's gonna sound so I can't believe I'm gonna say it sounds so stupid, but I started like the plant was talking to me, and that was a new experience for me. I was like, "Am I going crazy right now?" Because the plant's I,
Wow, really?
yeah. I mean, normally I have. I mean, it isn't that strange when you think about it. Like I have
It's not, because everything has consciousness,
correct,
and I know people that talk to trees. That's literally, they're like, yeah, I talk to trees all the time and connect with them. So that's
exactly,
not actually weird to me at
exactly. But
all.
I think for me, it put me out of my comfort zone, which
Oh
surprised
yeah,
me. I was like, "Oh,
you're like, is
okay."
this happening right now? Yeah, am I going crazy? Yeah,
I think it's good to have that level of like check-in of sanity and craziness on this journey, just checking
yeah,
yourself.
yeah. But you know what though? Like that stuff's all real, and the more we move into this ascension, the more those kind of things are going to be happening to us, and we're going to start becoming more telepathic and being able to communicate with plants and with animals and things that many people don't even know are possible.
100%.
But
I don't know about you, but I've noticed that the like recently the telepathy thing has been really kind of amplified. Um, More and more like I call it like plucking things out of people's heads. Like I've always done it, but now it's like pretty consistent. Where
nice.
I'll just and it's like, oh, okay. And vice versa. It's not just me, it's like people can, um
Yeah. Do you just get like a download kind of a thing, or like an image or stuff like that?
Yeah, it's more the words, so I guess it's
Oh,
clairaudient.
okay.
Like I'll hear it, and it's normally
You
when
will
I'm
actually audibly hear words.
no, it's in my voice, so I guess it's more like a download, like claircognition.
Oh, okay.
I can't even say
Nice.
the word. The knowing Claire. um,
Yeah. Yeah, like a knowing, yeah.
yeah,
You know what? I have gotten that before where I'll just suddenly know I just know something. I don't know why or how, but I'm just like, I just know this suddenly. I have gotten that before, yeah. I've never gotten clairaudience where I've never heard voices. He's gotten that. He has stories
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
Um uh I have gotten images a few times. Um and yeah, but more I've gotten just like the knowing. I'll just know. Or well, with me though, like being an empath, I just get feelings. I can feel like somebody walks into a room, I will be able to feel exactly what they're feeling basically, and like
mm-hmm.
I'd be like, oh, that guy's in a bad mood right now, or this person's sad, or this person's really happy, or this person's, I get that a lot because I'm definitely an empath for sure.
Have you found that that has been challenging to work with, like over the years? Is that something that like coming into that awareness and then um, how do I say it? Like, because I know for
Well,
me, oh,
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The challenging part
oh,
about it is just being able to, because when you're picking up everyone's energies like that, it affects you. So like it'll affect my energy, and I'll start feeling bad if they're feeling bad, or I'll start,
mm,
uh, especially if somebody's like talking to me and telling me all their problems, and which people tend to be drawn to me, I guess because I'm an empath, so
mm, mm,
um I'll start feeling their pain and their like anxiety and everything else about it, and it'll affect me. So I've had to, and that used to be really hard on me a
mm,
lot, because
mm.
I would literally be taking on all of this energy from people and not knowing what to do with it, and it just becomes a part of my energy, and then
Yeah,
it would bring me down. So learning how to either protect myself, boundaries, when I go out in public, especially, to kind of put up a shield, so
mm,
I'm not constantly taking in everyone's energies and
yeah,
stuff. And also, if I do, to be able to process it and just dispel it,
yeah.
and not just keep it in my energy field. So I've had to learn how to do those things, definitely.
Thank you for sharing that because I think
Very important.
even I think whoever's watching this, there's at least one person that needs to listen and hear that. And even if you know it, sometimes it's good to reiterate that, especially like right now on the
Yes.
planet. um,
Yes.
but
Absolutely.
okay, I do have a curious question in the sense that do you think that being an introvert and being empathic kind of goes hand in hand in some way? Like,
I think so. Yeah, because yeah, there seems to be a connection there because I don't know. Like introverts are very much, we live in our inner world way more, and it doesn't necessarily, I guess, because I know people that are introverted that aren't don't seem to be empaths, or don't are very much in their head, and they're not very like feeling type of people.
mm-hmm,
Um, but probably more than extroverts, definitely. And yeah, I think there is some kind of connection there. Um,
because I was just kind of curious as like as you became more aware of your sensitivity and other people's stuff, did you come out of your shell more when you were able to like manage that better? Like, can you, if you look back?
yeah, yeah, absolutely, because yeah, because I used to get like a lot of anxiety from being around too many people, or well, it was mostly like if I know people are paying attention to me, too many people are paying attention to me at once, I would get very, I would like feel the energy from everybody and like get so anxious, and And so yeah, public speaking or anything. But it was funny though, because I played in bands for like 15 years, being up on a stage, and for some reason doing that, I became completely comfortable with. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's something about that, just being, I was kind of in my element still, so I was comfortable. But like anything outside of that, being being in a spotlight is like new. But in just being in big crowds or being around a lot of people too, I would definitely. But yeah, once I learned to put up those boundaries and to kind of process those energies, I definitely did. I felt way more comfortable, uh, kind of talking more and yeah, just like putting myself out there more, I guess, which is why I was comfortable doing the podcast, because before that, there's no way I would have done anything like that for sure.
I have to say, like, I really admire you in it, like learning and understanding a little bit about your journey, knowing that that's been something that you have over or working on overcoming. I guess we're always, to go from that to then like being on YouTube and doing a podcast and like that's and I think that's phenomenally inspiring. And I hope that that inspires people who might be watching, that if you've done it, they could do it too, or whatever their calling is.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. If I can do it, literally anyone can do it. That's very true, because there is nothing, well, I wouldn't say there's nothing special. We're all special in our own ways, and that's the thing that I've come to realize. It's like we're all amazing. We're all phenomenally amazing beings that most of us just have forgotten. Like
Mm-hmm.
we come into this world so programmed, and you know, we don't know who we really are. We don't know our real nature, and our real nature is we are infinitely amazing and beings of great worth, and that we just don't know it. And you can literally create anything you want. You can be whatever desires you have within you. That's your real self. That's you connecting to your real self, right? And you can literally manifest from that anything you want to do, you want to create, you want to be. And if it's coming from your heart, from your inner desires, like that is, you can look at the universe experiencing itself through a point of awareness, and you're literally the universe manifesting itself through you. So how amazing is that, right? So like we're all that amazing, right? So like don't ever think like, oh, I'm just this nobody and like no one, I can't do this, or you can do anything you want, and everyone has amazing things to share and amazing things to bring to the world, and ways to help and to contribute. And everyone is here. I do truly believe everyone is here right now for a purpose. And just you being here, just every one of us being here is affecting your energy, whether you realize it or not, is actually affecting the collective, the whole, in a very powerful way. And the more you are able to live in alignment with your true self, the more you will be able to, the more powerful that will be, and the more amazing your life will be, and the more growth will happen, and just expansion, your expansion will just completely take off. So but fear is the great thing that stops that, right? That's what holds everyone back, and that's what was holding me back for a long time. That's why I spent 5 years by myself, because I was afraid. It was all fear-based. And once I finally got tired of it, and I'm like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I'm just done feeling alone, So the fear, it was like, I just pushed through it and just like got out there. And then same with like the podcast. Like I was very nervous about doing it at first. I'm like, what are people going to think? Is this, are people going to like this? Is this going to be weird or whatever? Had all those thoughts, and I was just like, I'm just going to do it. And that's what Tyler was on the same page. He was like, we were both just like, kind of like, oh, what's going to happen? But we just did it. We just knew we wanted to do it. And it was one of the greatest blessings we've both had in our lives. And it's still taking off. It's still growing. And like the greatest thing that's come out of it is like seeing the people that say that our podcast has like helped them and changed their life. We literally had a girl message us saying she was thinking about committing suicide, and then our show that she watched caused her not to. Yeah, and that was like one of the most amazing feelings from that I've ever had. Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness, that just sends chills all through me. And
yeah,
I think,
seriously. So get on your mission, because you never know whose lives are going to be affected and a profound way from you living in alignment with your soul and your soul purpose. So yeah.
100%, and you heard it right here. Like,
Yeah.
and so from someone else, it's not me just going on about it. Like,
Yeah.
and I love that you brought that up, because I always say that, because I've had very similar experiences with like Cosmic Gateway, and that you've just captured the essence of why I do what I do, and obviously you've had that experience, and it's like sometimes you may never even know the impact that you have created, but it's just in what you're doing that it's creating that ripple, and it's
Exactly.
and sometimes you do hear those stories and you're just like, wow.
Yeah. And that's, you know what, if that was like the only thing that happened from the whole time we've been doing this, it's worth it. It's more than worth it, right? So it's just been incredible. And then for our growth, like even just for our own growth, it's been amazing, just from all the amazing people we've had on and the amazing conversations we've been able to have. We've grown so much ourselves, Tyler and I both, from doing this. So it's been amazing. Yeah.
Phenomenal. I'm gonna steer it in a different direction now. I have like two ways that I want to go, and I'm not sure. One is, for some reason, I've got obviously that conversation we started to touch on before we hit record, which is talking about possible fake alien invasions. But on the other side of the coin, I've got like Dolores Cannon. I think maybe they go hand in hand, because it's like one here I've got like alien invasion or fake alien invasion, and over here I've got Dolores Cannon. I'm like, which way do I go first?
I want to talk about both of these things. Which way do I go? Yeah.
So I'm going to hand that over to you, because I don't know where you want to explore.
Okay. Sure. Let's start with the alien invasion, fake alien invasion, because well, to preface that, if you don't know about kind of what's going on and what's been going on the planet for a long time, you'll hear the terms like cabal, Illuminati, New World Order, the elites, globalists, blah, blah, blah. There's many terms, deep state. There are groups of people on the planet that have been around for a very long time, that have been kind of behind the scenes trying to manipulate humanity into a direction to implement their agendas, which is ultimately about power and control and domination, and turning the planet into something that serves them and enslaves all the rest of humanity ultimately. And there's different routes I can go with this, because it does connect to ETs. There are negative ETs that are involved with these people that have linked up with them, and they actually are above them and are using them as kind of proxies for them. And it's a whole pyramid structure, unfortunately. And but anyways, the ETs they've always been here. They've never left. So any kind of invasion, like, no, they're not coming. They've already been here for a long time, and they're still here, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. Or as James Gilliland says, like, us star seeds, we are the invasion. We've already
I
incarnated
love
here,
that.
so too late. Yeah, it's like we're already here. Yeah, and that's that. I like to look at it that way. Actually, like no, we're the positive invasion that came here to help
Which
with the
kind of
planet.
draws me to
Um,
like what I wanted to say about. I'm just going to throw it in quickly, and we can keep going. But like this conversation about the potential timeline of this fake alien invasion to install fear has been kind of in my field for the past couple of days through conversations, and my response to it is, yeah, bring it. Yeah, cool. That'd be great. Not because I want people to be in fear, but purely, and I want to clarify this, purely from the perspective of from the star seeds who have been um, misunderstood and ridiculed and all that for being
mhm.
like, this is our time to shine, to just go, no, it's cool, don't worry about them.
Yeah, like we already know. Yeah, we're like, yeah, exactly. Or you're like, oh, you believe in aliens? Oh, you're crazy. Yeah, or it's like, oh, there they are. Now no one has a choice whether to believe in them or not. Uh, well, here's the thing: like, disclosure's happening whether whoever likes it or not, because it's happening. I'm sorry, it's a part of the ascension. Everything's being revealed. Everything hidden is coming to light. This has been prophesied in every ancient text. Go look at any of them. It's all in there. So nothing is going to be able to stop disclosure or the ascension or any of it. I truly believe it's all happening. So don't buy into the fear porn or any of the, oh my God, they're going to kill us all, or they're going to do a fake alien invasion and then enslave us. Like they're going to try. They've been trying to do things, and they've been blocked now from most, if not basically all of it now, I believe. So if they are able to do a fake alien invasion, it's just, all it's going to do is help the awakening. I truly believe it, because it's going to kind of like burst that bubble open of, hey, there's aliens and they're here, whether they're, people view them as negative or positive. But then the only problem with that is, like, if it does, cause mass panic or fear, that would be a bad thing. But I don't believe that would happen, because I do truly believe we have benevolent forces, beings, and just benevolent forces watching over us and protecting us from that, because we are on a positive timeline. I truly believe it. We are on the ascension timeline. So I don't think anything like that's going to be allowed to happen to that drastic of a degree. If anything is allowed to happen, I believe it will be very minor, but it will actually work to wake people up and actually be a very good positive thing. If they are able to do some kind of fake invasion. But you know what? The aliens, the ETs, the beings, they're already here. And eventually, in my opinion, very soon, some of them will be coming out in the open, and we will actually be interacting with them and living amongst them. So we're moving into very exciting times right now. And tying this in, I guess, with Dolores Cannon, because she talks about the Earth split, which is like a timeline split, really, which is she talks about is the 5D Earth and the 3D Earth. The 3D is the old world we're moving out of, and the 5D is the new world we're moving into. And it's the amazing golden age, or whatever you want to call it, the amazing time that we're moving into. It's going to be literally like more amazing than most of us can imagine. I truly believe. And I mean, anything the cabal tries at this point, I just think it's going to backfire on them. I truly believe it. And
Well, this
if
year's
you
a perfect
follow,
example, isn't it? Really,
what's that?
this whole year is a perfect example of that.
Yes,
Like,
exactly. With the COVID, I do believe it was made in a or in a lab as a bioweapon, and I believe they wanted it to be way worse than it was. And since it wasn't, they had to do all these, as we've seen, all these manipulations and fake things to make it seem like the death count's way higher and that it's way worse than it actually is, and do all these crazy lockdowns and crazy insane 1984 level mandates and restrictions. And it's literally waking people up, so it's literally backfiring on them heavily. It's funny because I'm like, if they thought this was a good idea, they're literally just like digging their own grave way faster than they would have otherwise, because I'm watching it backfire, and so many people are waking up because they're like, whoa, wait a second, like this is all crazy. There's something else going on here. Even if it's just waking up on that level, that's all it takes to get people to start taking their power back and stop just blindly believing what they're told on mainstream media, from governments, authorities, so-called experts that they love to use that term. And it's like so many people are starting to like come into their own sovereignty and be like, wait, I'm going to find out for myself what's true and what's not true, not just blindly believe what I'm told, which is just 10 years ago or so. Look at how much just changed just from then, how many more people are awake now. And it's like nothing can stop that. It's just going to keep growing. So we are truly moving into amazing times. People are waking up like never before, and it's already in motion. So like literally nothing's going to be able to stop it. I do think it's going to keep getting, the bumpy ride's not over yet. It's going to be rough for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But you know what? Stay in your heart, stay in your center, and we're going to get through these times, and it's all ultimately for our greater good and for our it's a detox. It's a collective detox is a great way to look at it.
What a beautiful
So
way to put it.
Exactly. That's the best way I can think to put it. It's a great like purge of all this dense energy that's been here for so long, and negative things that have been on the planet, but now they're being revealed. So they're coming to the surface, which is creating all this chaos and craziness. So it seems because of that, like things are going down the toilet and like things are blowing up and, oh my God, it's the end of the world, but it's the end of the old world. It's the beginning of a much better new world. And the transition has to be this way, just because that's going into from that old control structure denseness to the new higher energies. That's just the natural way it's gonna happen, so just just don't get caught up in the fear is the best thing to do. Stay in your center. Know that anything that happens, you're not this body anyway. So even if something happens to your body, if you do die, like you're not dead. It's a transition to a different state anyway. So there's nothing to fear. Fear literally is an illusion. Like it's just something that we experience while we're here in this 3D realm that we it's like, it's like when a little kid you see is like afraid of like a shadow or some random thing that you're like, oh no, and you're trying to tell him, but he doesn't understand. It's like since we were in this body, we have limited awareness and we don't understand the greater reality until you tap into that. And that's why people that have near-death experiences or out-of-body experiences, they suddenly experience that greater reality and it completely changes them, right? They're like, oh my God, the greater reality is just like amazing, and love is all there is. And they suddenly have this realization, right? So there's nothing to fear at all. So don't be afraid. Yeah, is the message there.
I love that.
All that rambling, just don't fear, don't be afraid. There's nothing to fear.
No, that's beautiful. And I think to put out that message right now is just so timely for so many people who may be, in huge states of fear, and just that message of hope and peace, because there's a beautiful world that's emerging through all of this chaos, and it's very exciting times. Actually, when you said about like ETs and living amongst us, and that's not far off, there was something inside me that got really, really excited, and it kind of reminded me of something that happened a few days ago. So I had a BQH session. I think it was like just over 12 months ago. I've had a couple. One of my very dear soul sisters is a practitioner, so I'm a bit spoiled in that sense that,
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was it was really quite profound. It was where I walk, where I take my dogs for a walk most days, and there's an oval, and there was this Palladian. I just knew it was a Palladian ship, light ship that landed in the middle of the. And I went on it, and there was all these animals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was just the opening scene. Obviously, there was a lot more to it, but no, it was like 2 days ago. I was walking at that exact spot, and there was a group of kids that let off like some sort of like firework or explosive something or other, and it triggered that memory because it was right where they let off that sort of rocket, was exactly where I'd seen it in that session, the Palladian ship land. And it was just a tiny ship. It wasn't like a massive ship. It was like,
Really?
and that really got me thinking. I was like, are we closer than, I won't say the date that it was given in that session because time's so irrelevant, but I was like,
Yeah.
is that like a little marker of saying, oh, that's closer
We
than you think?
we could be that close. Yeah, we could be very, very close. You never know. I don't like to do dates because I've seen so many people put out dates and then it never, yeah. But like you said, time is always, it's not what we think it is. We think we're in this linear set in stone thing, but it's not. We live in a literally we're always shifting timelines, really. So time is not really like a set thing. It's like we're creating the timeline always, in every moment that we're on.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a greater timeline, I think, that we're all within, that is the Ascension timeline. But within that, I think they're all a bunch of little timelines, that we're constantly shifting between based on our choices and based on what we do and feel and everything else. So, yeah. So,
Yeah,
you know,
beautifully said.
like,
I used to do an analogy of like 3D, 5D, and then everything in between, but ultimately the pathways. But as you were
yeah,
saying, I was literally seeing a highway, like a big highway, and that's like the one organic timeline of everyone moving, driving to New Earth, and there's all these little side roads going off.
nice.
Sorry,
That's awesome. I love it.
I'll
That's
have to go
it.
and draw that. It'll make more
Yeah, you
sense.
got to draw that now.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to share? It's just been such a great connection and conversation, and I think it's going to be really helpful and inspiring to many people. So I can't thank you enough.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, it has been an amazing conversation, and yeah, I thank you so much for the opportunity. Yeah, I guess just kind of just to reiterate what I said, just it's things are getting a little crazy as we can see, and I'm seeing a lot of people get caught up in fear and you know just not knowing what's going to happen and seeing the craziness, thinking like we're headed for some kind of dystopian future or who knows what. And I do not believe for a second that we're headed to that.
mm,
I believe we are headed for an amazing future, and I believe we are ultimately creating our own reality. So what you focus on, you are going to manifest. The universe is going to be like showing you, okay, so here it is. Like, that's how reality works ultimately. So the more you're in fear, you're actually going to be manifesting more things to be afraid of, and you're going to be you're going to be moving in a more negative timeline, even though ultimately I think anyone alive right now is on the ultimate positive timeline. But you can basically make it as difficult on yourself as you choose, because the universe says as you wish, right? So
mhm,
what you choose to focus on, it says as you wish.
mhm,
By the
mhm.
way, that's where James got his radio show name.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Because that's just how it works. And so stay in your heart, and know that love is the ultimate reality, and that the more you can find things that you can be grateful for in your life now, and the more you can connect with your soul and your passion and what really makes you come alive, and move in that direction. And especially if you can, like, the more you use your gifts and talents and abilities to help people and to help the collective, the more blessings will come your way, because that's just how it works. And you will literally watch your life transform and change for the better. I guarantee it. So you know what, that's it right there. And we're all headed for an amazing future. And we're all ultimately one anyway. We're all ultimately the universe experiencing itself through a person, through a point of awareness. So you are another me, I'm another you. And all our minds are the mind of God, ultimately. So it's we're all God experiencing itself, which is, that's incredible right there, to think about. So, as soon as you like really get that, there's nothing else to be afraid of, and there's nothing to worry about, because why would you, and we can all start to move in the direction of love and unity and manifest the amazing experience and future that we want to create. And it's like, then it's just like, what do you want to create, at that point? So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing such profound wisdom and inspiration, and I guess words that people really need to hear right now. So thank you so much once again. Thank you everyone for watching. And I don't know, if you're up for it, maybe we'll do this again sometime.
I would love that. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, we're going to sign off until next time. Thank you all for watching. Once again, thank you, Aaron. And until then, we will see you soon. Bye.